Happy Friday, everyone. It's been another week, and it's one of those weeks where I have shed many, many, many pounds, but yet I've put on weight. Thank God I'm not at Essen Spiel, which is happening right now, because, yeah, then it would actually be a bit worse, I think. But yeah, money has gone out of my account this week. But I'm blessed with some wonderful friends to join us this evening. We're going to talk about Dragonmeet, which is my favorite role-playing game convention in the UK. And yeah, there's a couple of interesting projects on Kickstarter as well, so we'll talk about that. So with Devious Dungeons, Foreboding Forests, and The Coolest Cats, my name's Phil. Welcome to the Dark Orb. Good evening. How are we all?
Hey man, how are we doing?
Very, very good. Very good indeed. John, thank you so much for joining me and Martin today. And Martin, good to see you. It's been a couple of days.
Yeah, yesterday, in fact.
Yeah, since we last spoke. Yeah, where do we start? John, again, thank you very much for joining me. Many people here will probably know you've seen your face at UK Games Expo, at Aircon, LongCon,
running past
Dragonmeet. Yeah, running past.
Yeah.
Normally it's a case of I'll be right back. Find me in an hour. Something's on fire over there.
Find me.
Find me.
I think that could be the call sign, couldn't it? Really, just find me.
Find the automatic Dodd.
Where's Dodd? Yeah, you know what I mean.
Where's Dodd?
Doesn't have the same ring as Where's Wally, but something. Where's Dodd? Probably near there somewhere.
Theoretically, you're at the front, but you're never there.
Ostensibly, yeah. That's exactly where I theoretically should be.
Yeah. Oh, goodness me. So, yeah, let's talk about who is the Dodd. let's do some introductions.
Well, he's just one man, two men from the back. No, I run Dragonmeet. I'm one of the directors of Dragonmeet. I'm the floor manager, front of house, RPG manager for UK Games Expo. I'm the RPG manager for Aircon. I'm the con director for LongCon. What else do I do? I'm committee on at least 2 EasterCons, probably coming up for a third shortly. I do WorldCon, so 2019 I was one of the area heads. I'm not going to Washington this year, but that's a combination of things, not least of which not wanting to get snowed in Washington in December, and then possibly find myself stuck over there for 10 days waiting for quarantine to turn around, depending on what Boris decides he's going to do next, which... There we go. We play role-playing games. We understand the impossible is possible.
Absolutely.
And certainly in the case of that...
role.
Mm-hmm. And Fantasy Cons. I'm the treasurer for the BFS, the British Fantasy Society. I write novels.
You do?
And novellas. I write for games companies. This is all sounding like I'm really competent and I know everything that I'm on about and all the other stuff, but actually, you know something? Yeah, it's just stuff you do.
Well, I think the thing is that let's not beat around the bush. We're all over 25, and once you stick at a certain thing, well, okay, you're over 35 then.
see all the dark hair here.
Yeah, I mean, some of us haven't really got much dark hair left here.
Something. The hat makes it all black, so it's all good.
That's the plan.
I'm wondering when John's going to share with the scientific community how he's managed to fit more than 24 hours in a day with that long list of things he manages to do.
I mean, that's the thing is, John, I mean, I think you've been doing Games Expo for like a really long time, for example, sort of 15 years
Since
almost.
year 2, yeah.
Yeah.
And me and a bunch of people turned up with a role-playing team at the time.
Yeah.
So we went from convention to convention and we just offered games. So year 2 was pretty much us. They said, do you want to continue doing that? I said, yeah, no problem. And 14 years later.
That's the thing is that, you learn skills that literally no one else really has just because you've had to do it. And you learn like with role playing, you learn through your failures and your successes, and things get bigger and better, and you like to push yourself, and next thing you know, you're basically there,
Doing
and you've done it. But also, you tip your hat to quality, and that really shows. And I'm not going to spend the whole time proverbially arse licking you, but but I really appreciate. I am, yeah. No, but I really appreciate Games Expo
really
and Dragonmeet.
No, at the end of the day, look, you built something you want to go to yourself.
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
That's, if anyone wants the secret, there it is.
Yeah,
full stop. If you're ever building any event whatsoever, build something you'd love to go to.
Yeah,
you do that.
That's the thing.
You're never going to go wrong.
But it also means you never get to attend it.
Crap conventions. Yeah, well, I've never been to Games Expo.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
The last time I went to Dragonmeet, not to work, not to do anything, was 2001.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never been to Longcon. This is all sounding really depressing. Can we get off this?
No. Well, no, but the thing is, you're there every time, but you have a different experience, and I've been there. I've done corporate events, and it's just as wonderful being on the other side of it. It's just a different experience. Let's just spend a couple of minutes saying hello to those of you who have joined us. Thank you very much for coming along today. So we have Jason, Millie, great to see you, Millie. Been a long time. Neil, good to see you, Neil, and Bob as well. Nice little turnout of people in the comments. If you are watching and you want to contribute, please do comment. And obviously, if you enjoy, please do like and subscribe and Patreon and all that other stuff. It's all down there. Let's talk about some of the game projects that you've done, that you've worked on, because I think that's a really interesting part of your career that maybe people don't know so much unless they're paying closer attention. I remember we had a conversation, 18 months ago probably, and you mentioned Slay Industries, which is one of those products that I actually never managed to get onto the table of. I remember a whole load of my friends when I was at uni were playing the old edition of Slay, and I was playing Vampire. So, it seemed to be those were the two camps at that point.
I played both, so
I hate you.
We actually, at one point in time, we actually played Slay using Vampire rules.
That'd be amazing.
Because everyone knew how to play Vampire, because we'd got a werewolf campaign going on and everything else. Yeah. So everyone knew how to do that, but no one was willing to learn the rules.
Yeah.
So I'm like, right, why not? Okay. I tell you what, let's use werewolf character sheets and just stick Slay in there. What's the worst that could happen? It turns out it works just fine. So
yeah, I mean, we've got Yoel, who is quite often on the cast, for example, is a very big proponent of the completely right sentiment that the setting is really, or the system should be there to support the story, and it shouldn't hinder it. And therefore, to an extent, within reason, you can translate these things across, provided you get the mechanics right. That you can transpose a lot of settings.
Something I'm pretty sure if you can use the mechanics properly of almost any system in the world, you can pretty much run anything in the world. You may not get the exact feel of it as the creator intended.
Yes, that's
but you'll still have a good game.
Yeah.
I mean, the more we play games, the more we get to the point where we understand the rules aren't exactly what they should be.
Yeah.
But they're never going to be exactly what they should be.
Yeah. But I do quite like I like learning different systems, because I feel that changing the system as well as the setting, for me, we're having this conversation earlier in the Discord actually, it helps me to context shift a little bit, because for example, one of the games we'll talk about later on, Savage Worlds Holler, spoilers, I'm a little bit concerned that it's going to feel like Deadlands.
It can't not.
Yeah, exactly.
Given the setting and the other bits and pieces, it can't not.
Exactly. Which is a shame, because I like the setting, and I like Savage Worlds. But
you can.
It's
not a problem. If you enjoy Deadlands, though, you'll love it. That's the thing.
True. I think that's where you go in for the PDF level, isn't it? You don't go in for the fill level.
the what level now?
The fill level, which is fill your boots, take everything.
Yeah. No. What's this PDF thing you're talking about? Yeah. Well, I did that with Burnpile. To be fair, I had to downscale my pledge but I'll probably change that in the back of kit. I just need to get mouse ratings to the table first.
No, PDF, and I think in Kickstarter short for Please Don't Fail.
Yeah.
You know, this is the extra level just in case for all those people who aren't sure. But please, really, truly, give the money. Why? It's a PDF. Back it anyway. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You'll end up with 6,000 of them on your drive that you'll probably never read, but it doesn't matter. You've got it to success.
And if you're not going to read it on PDF, then you're probably not going to read it when it's on the shelf.
There you go.
So, exactly.
But we have gone away from Slay slightly. So, yes.
Yeah, that's all right. So, we can go back to Slay.
No,
more
Slay
Slay.
Industries was one of the first games that I picked up. Well, no, rephrase. It wasn't one of the first games I picked up. It was one of the first games that was actually bought for me.
Right.
Some years ago. Love the setting. Love the setting. Love the notion that you had the Shakhtar who were in fact predators. Knowing anything about it. Look at the first cover artwork; they were predators, no problem at all. You look at the Wraith, and absolutely no problem at all. Wonderful. I must have written between, well, good grief, the age, good grief. How many years ago was it? So 2000s-ish. And I wrote for several of the source books. But we had the Teammate forum, so we kept most of the fan base was there, kept that going. I made line editor line developer, in fact, 2006, which the original creators, Dave and Jared, decided they wanted back in 2007, which coincided quite nicely with the conventions turning up. And so I decided to cut my losses on the whole thing, stop writing in general for RPGs, and went to running conventions, and that seems to have worked okay, really. So yeah. But no, I love Slay. I mean, didn't know we were going to talk about Slay, but there we go. For all those looking, here's the second edition. The first edition is back there.
I keep nearly buying the second edition, but I must confess the rule set just seems very crunchy.
I don't like the rule set, but that's me. I like the old stuff. And a lot of the people that I played with way back in the day, one of the longest campaigns I ever run, I ever played in fact, it was 6 years, 7 years. And it was wonderful. It was marvelous. And I'm not sure you could get that level of immersion again because we were all very much products of the time. And the game was a product of its time and the system worked for it and everything else. And it was perfect. And there's some part of me that doesn't want to try and replicate that perfection in the fear that it will not be and it'll tarnish what we had.
And a lot of it is nostalgia, isn't it? But, quite often when you go back and do something again, you're like, all right then. That's fine.
I remember that. Yeah.
I was giggling a couple of seconds ago, not because of what you were saying, but because Jason said this. Only a matter of time before the fill level becomes a KS norm. In fact, if I ever do a KS, the fill level will be a thing.
It is entirely accurate, sadly.
And Bob says, numerous PDFs that we haven't read through, I'm feeling called out.
I mean, I will say,
if you did, but no.
I loved my frother back in the day. It was Slay for me was all about the kilt wearing maniacs. It was just a load of fun.
I played an Eben who was supposed to be the good side of things, no problem at all. I should point out this was round about the year 1999. And I played an Eben that had you had an advantage that was called DNA tattoo, which means you had this spectacular tattoo. I had that at rank 10. Now, I'm not suggesting for a second that Star Wars may have had something to do with that, and I'm not suggesting I was playing Darth Maul at all. But the fact that my character had a staff and a shiny set of tattoos, and could move things with his mind, and not a word. Any system can be used for any game.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Oh, goodness. So then you, from there, you went to conventions and you kind of already...
well, what happened was I'd got a lot of things lined up for Slay, and of course, they all went on the back burner at the point at which it went back to the original creators, which is fine, but it dented my enthusiasm quite significantly.
Easily done.
It's one of those things, no problem. There's no blame in any part of this. It's just, it went back to the right people. That's absolutely fine. It's just one of those things. Sometimes projects get shelved. So I went to conventions instead. And I mean, UK Games Expo was starting around about that time. Dragonmeet I've been helping with since James Wallace reinitialized it way back in the late 90s, in fact. And yeah, it's a thing where you can get a lot of people together and they can all have a good time. And
Hi, Zach.
there we go. But it's just I like seeing people having a good time. I mean, that's why we formed Team 8. That's why we went from place to place doing things. And this just seemed like an easier way to get more people in to do more things.
Yeah.
And of course, Chris Birch took over Dragonmeet 2014. Asked me if I'd run it. No problem at all.
Chris Birch is from Modiphius.
Modiphius, yeah. The man of the moment at Modiphius. Asked me if I could run it for him. The other partner dropped out in 2018. I said, yeah, no problem at all. I'll take over that. So it's been me and Chris as directors of Dragonmeet since. I mean, when we took it over, we had, I think, 700 or 800 people. Mm-hmm. We're now at somewhere near 3,000. It's, I don't know about this year, because obviously COVID, Corona, who knows?
Hard to guess, isn't it?
No one knows. But it was going to be the last year at the hotel because we were out of space. Yeah, so we've now got all the space in the hotel. We've got space enough for open gaming. We've got a board games library. We've got demo areas. We've got all the other stuff, everything else. But then you've got to start wondering, do we have to move to XL? And there's no point moving to Olympia because you move to Olympia and after a while, you'll have to move to XL.
Yeah, Olympia's a bit of a strange venue as well.
That's the thing. It's okay for a bit, but it's not. XL, on the other hand, modular. You can do whatever you like with it. Job done. Yeah. It's a little bit big. But I'm pretty sure people tend to respond.
It's just what I love about Dragonmeet in the current venue. And actually, there was a question on the Dragonmeet Discord, which I tried my best to answer. Someone asked, how busy is it? Is it overcrowded, etc. And the answer is, it's busy, but it never felt to me. I've gone, I think, 3 times, maybe 4. It is busy, but it never felt claustrophobically so.
No.
You've done a really good job of managing that. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I can entirely claim credit. I'll be honest there, because what happens is a lot of people come in for the games.
Yeah.
So they go straight upstairs and start playing games.
Yeah.
Some people come in for the gaming. They go and play in the gaming. No problem at all. Everyone else does the trade halls.
Yeah.
But even with 2 trade halls that we have this year, you go in, you go around the trade hall, and then once you finish the trade hall, if you're not there for the games, you're not there for the open, you're not there for anything else, you're not doing the seminars, you just go.
Yeah, and that definitely happens.
So we've had that whole, the flow in, the flow out. So a lot of people come in at 9 o'clock. If they're only in for the trade hall, they leave about 12-ish.
Yeah.
More people arrive later on, and it works, and it works. I see from Neil, are there any plans to move to 2 days? Not yet, but
Neil just
we can see the interest. We'd be happy to. The problem is for this one is that it's not like other conventions in that 2-day events in London are expensive. And by that, I don't mean for us. It's no difference to us.
Yeah.
But everyone else suddenly has to factor. If you don't live in London, you're suddenly paying for a London hotel.
We're doing that anyway.
I know. And for those,
but that's us. I mean, for us,
no problem at all.
Well, for us, we're treating it as a bit of our holiday. I mean, we found certainly over the last few years, obviously the last 2 years excluded, Games Expo and Dragonmeet massively eats into our vacation budget, but we don't necessarily have the time with our the jobs that we have to take 2 weeks off and go to Marbella or something. But yeah, we're booked.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the thing. So when you do it, there's that whole thing of, we could easily take Dragonmeet 2 days, no problem at all. Would we have enough different content on 2 days? For the people who do the trade hall? No, not really.
Twice. Yeah.
If all you're doing is the trade hall, you'll get round it.
Yeah.
In 1 day.
It's not huge.
Guaranteed. Yeah. Hell, even at Expo at its largest, if all you were doing was the trade hall and nothing else, you can get around Expo in 1 day.
Yeah.
There's very few SN that's going on at the moment. Yeah, fair enough, no worries. If you're going to look at every stall properly, rather than do what most people do, which is take the shopping list and then just go with that, then no problem at all. You're going to be a thing. But there it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying everyone has to go to 2 days. No. It's entirely possible to have a perfectly good show in 1 day and have a perfectly good time doing it. And for me, it's better to have a one-day event that everyone finds perfect. You go home, at the end of it, you're exhausted, but you're grinning.
Yeah.
Perfect. What I don't want is people come in on day 2 and go, I'm still tired from day 1. I really don't want to be walking around these things. My feet are aching from day 1. I know this from UK Games Expo. My feet are definitely aching from before day 1.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sunday's a good example of Sunday at Expo is a good example of this, because actually, I mean, there are those of us who will go for the whole period, and whilst I didn't do that this year, traditionally we'd actually go on a Thursday night and we'll stay till the Sunday. But actually, Sunday is a complete washout, because everyone will just get completely trolleyed on Saturday. Lots of people will get completely trolleyed on Saturday, or you're playing a role-playing game or something until midnight, 1 a.m., or you're at one of the live shows. And the Sunday is pretty much a recovery day. And I think with the feel that Dragonmeet has, and the wonderful nature of the group already, which is that on the Saturday evening you go to the bar and you stay there until quite late.
Yeah.
Sunday morning is going to just be a lot of people with hangovers wishing they hadn't booked that game, I think. And I think actually, if you want to go and make a weekend of it, you can.
Yeah.
But make a weekend of it by actually on the Sunday planning to go somewhere with your mates.
Yeah.
You know, from the hotel.
I think. I mean, I've not been to Dragonmeet. I've not been to many cons. I hope to. I live in Sweden, so it's a bit of a trek for me.
Bit of a trek, yeah.
So, but what I will say is, I think it's testament to the fact of what you were saying, that you would rather people feel like they have a perfect day when you have indie game devs that are setting up a bundle on itch to fund marginalized people and people that are experiencing hardship to go to Dragonmeet.
We saw that.
Yeah, and so you've got
that one. We gave them all the tickets they were going to need.
Yeah. So
if you need some more tickets, come back and tell us.
Yeah, you guys gave, like, was it 20 tickets?
Yeah, 20 straight away. And if they find out they're funding more people, you know something, I'll say this now, and we're live, so absolutely fine. If they manage to fund 50 people to come down there, we will give 50 tickets.
And I mean, at the minute, they've got, like,
we will do that.
Of a goal of, well, I've got it in dollars here, but $1,500. They've got 1,353. And I just think that it speaks volumes about the way that people obviously feel about Dragonmeet. You've got these indie game devs. You've got Matt Sanders, Chris Bissett, Zach from Soul Muppet Publishing, and they've banded together to send people. They obviously feel that this is a place where it's a safe, friendly space for people to come. So, you know, you've obviously created this that people feel happy to fund people to go to, and I think that's ultimately something to be incredibly proud of.
I was happy. When I found out about that, I was very, very happy.
Yeah,
it's just that where you think, that's what we do this for.
Yeah, and if anybody, you know, just kind of getting on the bandwagon of it a bit, if anybody wants to go onto itch, look for the Dragonmeet marginalized folk bundle, and put some money down. You'll get some great games, and you'll help people go to Dragonmeet that might not be able to afford it, or they might be from marginalized backgrounds.
Yeah, we only found out they've made it public today, so we're going to be putting it up on the Dragonmeet Facebook as well. So you will be able to find it there as well.
Excellent.
Let's have a look at it.
Went to Matt and said, "Look, when's this going up?" He said, "Oh, it's been up a week." I'm like, "Great."
Yeah.
Tell me, you know.
Well, let's have a very quick look at it and see what you get. So, you know, for people who care more about the product than the sentiment, just no. But anyway, let's have a look, because this is great. I didn't know about this. I will definitely back it. Electric Bastion Land. You know, Loot Goons, Colossus Wake, Hieronymus. I mean, these are some damn great games.
Yeah, they really are.
I mean, that's wonderful. And in fact, I was only saying a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Into the Odd that I don't have Electric Bastion Land. So, you know, even from I could do with that myself point of view, regardless of the fact that this is a wonderful, wonderful way of maintaining the community and helping people to find a family, which is how I feel Dragonmeet is. You know, it's
how we work on
family of gamers. You know,
look, it doesn't matter what world you came from, you're welcome in ours.
Yeah,
that's the point. That's the way it should always have been.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in the 80s. I say I grew up in the 80s. I became older in the 80s.
I was born in 80, so there you go.
Let the
I was 79, so
I was 73. Let's not go there. The thing here is that you didn't get geeks admitting to being geeks because that was death.
Yeah.
Yeah, you watch Flight of the Navigator. Wonderful film. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Except when they say, were those geeks? Yes, those were geeks. And it's like, really? Really? I used to love that film. And, you know, now, yeah, geek. And?
Exactly.
So, yeah,
things have changed an awful lot.
That's something I wanted to ask you actually about Dragonmeet, or generally cons in general, because you're involved with so many, more than I ever imagined. With the massive increase in the last, however, recent times in role playing, is this something that you're really seeing like a knock-on effect with the cons that you're working with in terms of the role playing side of things? It's so much more popular now than it used to be when we were all growing up.
Yeah, it absolutely is. The thing is behind it is there's the critical role effect, which obviously is a thing that's going to be happening on. But matched to that is the expectation that people want to be delivering critical role level products, which they can't. And the other thing about it being is if you're playing a board game, 9 times out of 10 you can sit down, you can learn the rules in a short amount of time, unless it's High Frontier or Twilight Imperium, and you can then play, no problem at all. With an RPG, you're either an experienced GM and you've done this for years and you can just run it off the top of your head, or you've got to think about it, you've got to put a game together, you've got to put an adventure together, you've got to generate the characters, then you've got to go in front of people you've never met and run it. Now, way back, and we're talking late 90s, you used to get people who turn up to games just to wreck them. And that was a real shame, and we don't put up with it anymore. Yeah, there used to be a point where you'd get people, and you get the GM, and he just wants to turn up, get his free ticket, and then wander in. You used to get that. You don't anymore. We find someone's done that when we say, yeah, no problem. It's the last game you run here, no problem at all. No worries. You still get your free entrance off, you go enjoy it. It's the last one you're ever going to get. Yeah. But for a lot of people, it's putting it together and then bringing it together. So we're getting a lot more interest, a lot more people doing the shorter demo games. So like, as you mentioned with the indie drop-ins, so the 1 hour games, the 2 hour games, we always have the 4 hour games because a lot of people like to play games at conventions. Just recently there was Furnace, wonderful convention. The Garrison Cons I can recommend wholeheartedly. Furnace, Seven Hills, Shake-On, I'm forgetting 2 or 3 of them at least, but here's me live on the spot. Look up the Garrison Conventions. They're in Sheffield. They're all superb. And they're all 4 hour games. It's brilliant. And there's a lot more interest than there was, but I think that's because more and more people are starting to volunteer to run games.
So you're seeing an uptick in GMs then?
Yeah. And that's the key, because there's always going to be more demand than there is supply. Yeah. I wish there wasn't, but there always is.
We all know about the forever GMs.
And there's the problem. You know what I mean? Because the forever GMs are mostly older than me. And I don't like to think of myself as old, but you know something? I'm not in the 25 bracket anymore. And that's where we need people to be coming in from.
I filled in a survey online last week, right? And it was actually related to one of the toy conventions, and Bandai are doing like a deluxe version of a Macross figure. Shows the age we're at.
No, they've got a giant one of those in Japan that still moves and transforms.
Yeah, amazing. So they're doing a deluxe version for the US market, and you had to like do the which age bracket are you in, and it gets better. There were like 7 or 8 age options, and the upper age bracket was 51 plus, and I was in the second age bracket, which was like 38 to 51. 38 to 50 or something. I was like,
something guaranteed. Someone who was 20 years old made that bracket.
Yeah.
How old can you be? Like old, medium old, semi-old, medium, almost old, nearly old, Old.
I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like I don't mind getting old. There's way less expectation on me.
Yeah,
just in general.
See, that's not what's happening
It's
with
like
me.
just in
The
life.
expectations are going up. You know, more responsibility, more expectation, more stress.
But that's
Well,
mostly from
there's
yourself.
more stress. There's always
That's mostly from yourself, though. You know this.
I know.
Because you expect that you will do more as a result.
I know.
I have the same
and then
problem.
you give that expectation to other people, and they go, "Oh, yeah, you can do that as well."
Yeah.
Okay, then fine.
Yeah, it's okay. You got this. Thanks.
Yeah, I had it.
Yeah,
I had it.
I
Then you
don't got
added.
Yeah. No, not a word. But yeah.
Jason says I played in 3 games in the last 2 years, and they were all in the last fortnight.
Yes.
Congratulations! What were the games? That's what I'd like to know. What systems did you play? I'm playing a lot of games at the moment. It's great, but my gosh, am I tired.
I've only got the one campaign going at the moment, which is Pantheon. It's a D&D thing. And the idea is that we're all there's five of us in total, and every one of us is taking a turn being the GM and then being the players.
Nice.
But it's an ongoing campaign from 1st to 20th.
Right.
And we're using milestones, so we're going to get through it in about 3 years or thereabouts, and we're currently about 7 months in. So my tenure as GM cheerfully is nearly finished.
Yeah.
But we're recording the whole thing. We're going to be streaming the whole thing.
Oh, lovely.
So there's going to be the whole, no problem at all. Here's where we start with John, and he's made everyone cry several times.
Yes.
Now we're going to move on to someone else, and they're not going to make everyone cry. So this is the different styles of GMing that you can use. I mean, one of the players said that they fancied having a unicorn in the adventure, and one of the players went, "Don't tell John." And they went, "Well, what for?" So because John will put unicorns in the adventure, but you may not like the way in which they're presented on the wall. At which point she's like, "No!" I'm like, "Well, it's me. Sorry." Yeah. D&D from by Hannibal Lecter.
I can't wait. I definitely need to watch that. I mean, we've been recording. Many people will know this. We've been recording a cult, Divinity Lost. So we're one session from the end on that in terms of recording. That's going to go out at the end of the
Phil
the month.
hopes.
Yeah, I hope.
Live the dream with hope.
In terms of what's recorded, what's written down, it's about 20 minutes of gameplay, but I know my party. Martin's in that party.
Call of Cthulhu and Cough Cough by Newt. Yes. That wouldn't surprise me, Jason. But it'll be good when it arrives.
So what? Let's talk about what's happening with Dragonmeet then. So we had a couple of years off. Well, a year off.
Why was that?
Sore throat.
Well, to be fair, there was a thing.
Yeah.
And then 2020 went missing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it sort of came back, and then the cloaking field came back on again.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I blame the Klingons.
Yeah.
Because, basically 2020 went cloaked, and then 21 came back, and then it got cloaked again slightly, and then it came off. And I'm pretty sure we've got a lock on the Klingons now, but,
It's either that or it's the Dodd in black. With one of those memory wiping devices.
I was going to ask a question, but I realised that it would derail us horrendously. So why don't you answer Phil's question about Dragonmeet plans?
Well, what I was going to ask
is the white light. There it is.
There we go. What I was going to ask is the big question, obviously, is safety and security. I think, as role players, we tend to be maybe a little bit more conscious of, safe space, etc.
The simple truth is, you round a table.
Yeah.
You round a table with up to 6 other people. There's no way around that.
No, absolutely.
At all. I've had some GMs saying that they'll only run if they're, and here's the list, in a room by themselves, with ventilation, with 2 tables so that you've got enough space between all the players. Yeah? And the room needs to be sanitized in between the 2.
Yeah.
I'll put that in perspective from a convention organizer's point of view. that means you're asking 400 quid-ish to run one game. And the idea of two tables across from each other doesn't work because you've got to yell to be heard. And if you're yelling, it's louder, there's more volume, you fill in the air. We did some test runs at UK Games Expo, furnace over the weekend just gone. And if people want to wear masks to the tables, that's absolutely fine. I've got no issue with that whatsoever.
I think that's the most.
But the government's mandate is that you don't have to wear a mask as soon as you sat down, which for me was lunacy.
Yeah.
Because where are you going to be most likely to catch it? Sat down.
Yeah. Next to someone else.
People. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. There were several cases. We had limited cases at Expo, but some of them were amongst the senior staff.
Yeah.
And the senior staff were because one of us tested positive just middle of the event, because their kids tested positive, so they went home, and that was it. So the rest of us were like, right, okay, no problem. The rest of us are all testing negative. We're all okay. No worries. Should be fine. No worries. 7 days later.
Yeah, then it actually proliferates, doesn't it? And
but no one, we didn't get any reports of anyone else catching it.
Yeah.
At the event.
And I felt very safe there, to be honest with you. I was really.
Everyone's wearing masks.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the FFP3 zone. I mean, good grief, those things make breathing a nightmare if you like me, but it doesn't matter. We're there. We're secure. So everyone's got mask protocol on. You can't mandate vaccinations, but you can mandate lateral flow tests. Yeah. You can make sure everyone's got a COVID pass. You can make sure they're as safe as they possibly could be when they go. If you're nervous about sitting down with a bunch of other people at a role-playing table, don't do it.
Exactly.
I mean that. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're nervous about coming to the convention, if you don't want to be around 1,000 people, don't come. Yeah. I would rather people not come and be safe and happy and know that they're safe and happy than take the risk to come along worrying the whole time. That's not what we're about.
Yeah. And there are plenty of ways exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are plenty of ways right now to play online. It's my God, it's not the same. I hate it, but
thanks.
I
love playing with you too.
Well, Martin, what wouldn't you rather play in person?
Yeah, I would.
And the reality is we've made some.
But I live in the arse end of nowhere in Sweden, so that is just not an option for me.
Well, that's my point. Is if we had the opportunity and the means to just always play at the table and do the stream with cameras, sat around the table and all that sort of stuff, we would.
And this is the problem. I mean, I often write about my cat, the Mogdalorian. Now, but here's the problem. If you had the choice and you could tell people, no problem at all, you can come and you can play games, but at all times, sealed, get your body armor on, you come into the table, no worries. This is the way. Except it's not, is it?
No.
And a lot of people aren't anywhere near as concerned as they used to be. A lot of people who are double vexed. Yeah. Some of the people who caught the damn thing at Expo, double vexed.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop you from catching it. What it does is it lessens the effects. But it's still that moment of there is still going to be a risk.
Yeah.
I mean, I came away from other conventions and I'm thinking, I went to FantasyCon a couple of weeks ago and I came away and my voice is all sore and I've got a bit of a bocked up nose. I'm thinking, come on, not again. It's not COVID. I've just been to a bloody convention. I've been yelling all bloody weekend.
Flu. Yeah.
That's all it is. I haven't got COVID. I'm I'm knackered.
But there's still that paranoia, isn't there? What if it happened now? And the number of times we're selling our house, so we've had quite a lot of people like coming in, going out, etc. And you get a sore throat and you think, you get a cough.
Oh dear God, this is how I die.
Exactly. Again, And
I died selling a house. Dear God, that's not a good epiphany, is it?
Oh no, not again.
On my gravestone, died selling a house. No thanks, I'm good. Pick something else. Died rolling dice. I'm okay with that. No danger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Died selling a house.
As long as they're exploding dice, otherwise it's not going to be as fun. Jason's nailed it in one sentence.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's the thing. We take every precaution we can. If you're not happy sitting down with people, don't sit down with people. If you want people to wear masks around the table, tell them. Something? We didn't have problem one at Expo with mask mandate.
Yeah.
Yeah. we had, I think, in total 6 people who did the whole, well, I'm not wearing a mask and I'm not vaccinated and I don't have a COVID pass, and we just sent them away.
Yeah.
Simple as. Bye. No problem.
Yeah,
well, you can't stop me. No, I can.
Yeah, it's a private event.
I really can. We can stop you anytime we like. Now,
Yeah.
go get an LFT or you're not coming in. But we've bought us tickets. Yeah. Don't care. Fetch. There's a medical unit outside. Go get your tests.
Yeah, exactly.
Curiously enough, they came back 20 minutes later going, yeah, okay, here it is. Right, fine. In you go.
Yeah.
Big grin on your face as their back turned to you.
It's an understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. The simple reason is I keep my thing like this because people don't realize quite how broad I actually am. If I need to block the doorway, all I have to do is stand in it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of turning.
I mean, it's very simple, isn't it? Do you care about other people or don't you? Will you do the things that are asked of you to protect the community that you find yourself in? Mm-hmm. If your answer is no to that, goodbye, you're not part of this community. You know? Yeah. It's so simple.
It comes back to the family thing. You know, we're a family, you know, and Dragonmeet especially is a family. And, you know, do you really want to hang around with the family members that don't care about you?
Nope.
I mean, the problem is, I guess, that, you know, there are people who genuinely believe that it's not a real thing. But that's fine. That. But that's fine.
To do so. No problem.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, you can respect other people's religions if they're not the same. You know, it doesn't mean that you can't spend time in the room and, you know, like, take your shoes off or whatever if they ask you to at the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's about respecting other people's differences and being a part of that society.
We set a measure. We keep it straight. We don't play favorites. We don't do anything else. We just say, look, if you're coming here, do this.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to do this, save yourself the time. Save yourself the trip. Don't come.
Yeah.
By the way, if you come to Sweden, you'll always be asked to take your shoes off at the door
before you come in.
You know something? Yeah. I'll give you 3 minutes after I've taken my shoes off for you asking to put them back on again.
Yeah.
Not in Sweden. No, they'll just put up with a stink. They'll just deodorize your feet.
Good theory, that one.
Yeah.
Acid for feet, I've got.
Yeah, when I've met John, I could smell him from no.
So Dragonmeet.
Yeah, I can smell your feet from here, mate.
And from Dragonmeet now. That Phil from the Dark
Orb. I've got my ticket.
He impugned my feet live on stream.
I'll know you're in there.
Yeah, but I bought my ticket. Don't care.
That's good. That just means I've got you in a place where I know where you're going to be.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
easy. You remember Jurassic Park, right?
No.
No, you don't remember Jurassic Park? You don't remember that they let the raptors out?
No, I've never heard of it.
But the humans were still inside the park? Well, guess what?
Yeah. I love Jurassic Park, by the way. I read the book before I saw the film. Love the book. It's one of my favorite
Better
books.
To read the book before seeing the film.
Yeah, absolutely. The book is quite scary.
The book was superb.
Yeah.
But they couldn't have made it into a kid's film.
I mean, they could have done. But it would have been terrible.
Well, actually, me and my wife were like, you know what? Let's start watching some of the films we watched when we were younger with our kids, and we put Jurassic Park on. My God, had I forgotten about the opening scene with the guy in the cage?
Shooter!
I was like, I don't think I've ever pressed the remote control that fast in my life.
Clever girl.
Yeah, no. It's like that. It's the.
You just call Martin a clever girl.
I mean, at least I got called clever. That doesn't happen.
Someone's made an RPG called Clever Girl.
Yeah,
I don't know how long it's going to be before someone pulls it on.
Yeah,
but I just loved it. Immediately. There's that motion of. I know exactly where that is. No problem at all. Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
But
kids
wonderful.
Trapped in the dinosaur park. It's 1 to 2 players. Use a Jenga stack. We could pull that up later. But why not? Have a look at that.
Is it based on Wretched and Alone, or is it based on Dread? I can't because it uses a Jenga stack. I know Dread does, but I know Wretched does as well.
We can have a look.
It's one of those two. I think it's one of those two.
I just the name got me instantly.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's so cool.
That wonderful moment of Bob Peck sat there and clever girl.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
wonderful.
absolutely.
Exactly how you should play Raptors.
Definitely.
None of this opening door crap. You don't need that stuff. Just have it sit outside going, yeah, I can last longer than you without food.
I couldn't. So Dragonmeet, it's the first Saturday in December, as
4th of December.
always. Tickets are available now. There are submissions currently being accepted still for Games Masters.
They absolutely are. Yep, they'll be accepted all the way until ideally the second week of November.
Okay.
But to be fair, we'll have a bunch of those on there. We've got No More Damsels doing a safe room specifically for that purpose, where we've got quite probably, although I can't confirm it yet, London D&D meetup's going to be there. RP Haven, a bunch of other clubs there as well. So we're expecting maybe not the same number that we've had in previous years, which has been 60 games a slot. Which, if we've got it, we've now got the entire of the second floor, so we could space it out reasonably well. But I'm not sure we'll get that many people.
Yeah.
The drop off at Expo was more than 70% from previous years. I mean, the year prior we had 600 people.
Yeah.
This year we had 95.
Yeah. That's
what can you do?
To
be fair, I wasn't surprised at Expo. We were literally just coming off lockdown.
Yeah.
It was like the week before.
Yeah.
So the number of people who just wouldn't have made plans, didn't make plans, couldn't make plans.
It was a bit scary as well. The psychology was really interesting as a punter, because we went. And there's a level of guilt. Should I be doing this? Is it okay that I'm going to see other people? We met up with Matt and Dave and various people, Neil, from the patrons of Effect podcast, which is kind of 3D centric Sweden's role-playing centric podcast. And we went for a meal and we're kind of going, this is really weird. I don't know if I genuinely can't work out if this is okay or not. Like we know each other well enough to know that we've all been very, very safe, and therefore the likelihood is that none of us are, even though obviously we've all passed the lateral flow, you never know if it's just taken a few days to come on. And we were all fine, obviously.
So
but
you're never going to know until several days afterwards.
Exactly. But it was just really weird, the psychology of it, going, this is strange. Is it okay that I'm within 5 feet of you?
We had a moment when the doors opened and there's me and the rest of the front crew. So we manned the front door. We've got people on the front door. Yeah. And to go back to Jurassic World momentarily, they're flocking this way.
Yeah.
Well, when the first group came over, and I just sort of glanced to the left, glanced to the right, said, look, if anyone suddenly has a moment where they're thinking, I can't be here, you step back, you go behind the barrier. There's no worry at all. Just step out of it.
Yeah.
6-7 minutes in, two of the people next to me sort of glanced across and went, yeah, I remember doing this. It's not so bad, is it? What? No.
And pretty much everyone was.
It's going back to what we did.
Yeah.
And I think the relief of going back to being able to do what we did outweighed both the fear and the guilt of what could happen if.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I think it helped that simple things like most people, not everyone, but most people were respectful of physical boundaries. Yeah. It was cramped getting to the tables, but actually the space between the tables was wonderful.
You know what I think made the biggest difference? It was the wristbands.
Yeah.
Because every wristband, when we got people coming towards, we said, look, show your wristband. And the second people went up, there's the wristband. That means they've been checked.
Yeah.
They've been COVID pass checked. They haven't got the virus. There it is. Off you go. Yeah. And as people saw everyone else around them and they looked around and they went, they're all wearing red bands, and everyone speeded up.
Yeah. Because
there was a sudden moment of, I'm surrounded by safe people.
Yeah.
I'm going in. Yeah.
Exactly.
And yes, Mill, it absolutely was.
Yeah.
But, you gave it half an hour at most, and we were just back to working.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And of course, as punters, we saw that pretty much, at least maybe not for all the large tables or the bigger companies, but most of the independent smaller companies had hand sanitizer on their tables.
And it was around the halls as well. So
exactly. And yes, you might be shoulder to shoulder with someone at a table, but it didn't feel pushy. No. There wasn't the kind of the shoving that you would just get through the large population. Yeah, some of that's because it was less busy than it has been. and some of it would be that actually the space between the tables was wider, which actually really helps psychologically. That helps. I think, you know, even if, you know, we managed to eradicate this thing and go back to relative normalcy, that spacing really made a huge difference psychologically. And if it can be afforded to do that again, it would be great. But it comes back to family.
I'm just going to go like this.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
It's an amusing concept, but the second you socially distance an event, it becomes, unless the event socially distances its prices.
Yes.
Yeah. So if the events that we're buying from suddenly decide that, you know, Hall 1 isn't 100 grand, it's in fact you can only space things at 4 times the distance, so it's now 25.
Yeah, true, because it's not just double, is it?
It's never going to
4 times. Yeah.
And there's the problem, really. If everyone brought down their prices to match, we'd be absolutely fine, no trouble at all. As it is.
Yeah, because you couldn't put the prices up and still get the footfall. It just wouldn't happen.
Not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's Expo, and we're talking about Dragonmeet. Because Dragonmeet is in a number of weeks now.
About 50 days.
I'm genuinely excited.
I'm not sure how it's going to go, but to be fair, both trade halls...
It's going to be awesome.
Well, we've now got 20% more people in the trade halls in number of stands than we've ever had.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's great.
So
really
we're also got open gaming space. There's going to be 3 tracks of seminars going on. There's a bunch of other things. Other events I can't announce yet, but we'll be doing shortly. But yeah, in the weeks to come, there's going to be a lot more stuff coming up. So
you've got the whole synchronized swimming thing, and
there is actually a pool. We don't use it.
Is there a pool?
There is a pool.
I will have to
Bet
communicate
you've
that.
never found it, have you?
No. I mean, yeah, I'll communicate that to she who must be obeyed, because we were under the impression there was not.
This is the key. You don't believe this sort of things happen, but it's like, yeah, can we use it? And they're like, well, it's a bit far away. And it is, actually. It's quite some distance from the main point. But
it's in Clapham.
But it's there.
Interesting.
Mm. Yeah, weirded me out. So, no, Mermaid Lab, not FTW. I've enough trouble policing labs as it is. You can sod off with mermaids. It's not happening.
No. Anyway. Right. Should we talk about some Kickstarters? There's a few things going on that are really interesting. Yeah, that's what we normally do on a Friday, is that I spend people's money for them.
Could I quickly mention one that I got coming in the last week?
Yes, that's the first thing I was going to say. So I didn't get anything in the post this week, apart from where is it? This is not gaming related, but it helps me fidget when I am sat in a Zoom meeting for hours on end. This here, which is
Damascus steel what?
It is a Damascus steel egg.
Yeah.
I'll just if I just do that.
Is it one of those ones that spins round?
No, it's literally just a lump of Damascus steel.
It's just a lump of Damascus steel, right? Okay.
Yeah, but it's quite nice because you can actually feel the little ridges on it, and it's just something. It's quite heavy because it's steel, and it's just quite nice and tactile, and it gives me something to do when I'm trying not to, bang my head against the brick wall.
You should get a fidget spinner. I imagine it's cheaper than that.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, John knows where it's at.
Yeah, that's if I've got a minute spare. 30 seconds. 20 secones. 10 minutes.
Oh, God.
You're giving Tom Crosby a run for his money.
No. I just I got bored last year, and I watched a documentary on the speed cubers.
Yeah,
which is the thing apparently.
Yeah,
this can be solved in 6 seconds.
What?
Which it can.
Yeah.
No. But fascinating. So I got the whole moment of, what's the worst that could... Let's try and learn that. So I learned that. Dead easy. No problem at all.
Yeah.
Then I learned this. Then I learned the 12. Then quite ironically, I came back and did this. So, yeah.
I can't solve a Rubik's Cube, but to be fair, I've never bothered trying to learn. Martin, what did you get in the post?
I got this.
Hang on.
Issue 2 of Weird Science magazine. from John Power Jr. It has a load of excellent tabletop information in it. This one is called Expert Rules, and it's kind of like a lot of it is BX related. A lot of it is kind of like evolution of games. It's got a load of good stuff in there. Buy a copy of it because it's really good. You can probably buy it direct from him. I'm sure you can. And if the Kickstarter for the third one comes out, back it. Do it. Help these people. This is like this takes me back. I used to buy magazines for all manner of nerddom when I was younger, and I don't anymore. And this is really good quality. It's got excellent interviews in it. Some really interesting interviews in it. That it's got an interview with the Coyote Crow people from the Kickstarter that they ran. I think it's also got something in there about Wander Home. It's really good. And if you don't troll through Twitter like I do to find out your gaming information, then this is a really good snapshot of what gaming was like when this mag was put together. Loads of brilliant contributors. I would heartily recommend it.
One of my Pantheon co-GMs, Mira, does a lot of the work in there as well.
Yes.
So I've backed it every time. I'm still waiting for the hard copy to turn up, but the first one is down here somewhere.
Yeah,
and cheerfully is red, because this is the correct order of colours.
Yes.
So,
Deliberately so.
But it appeals, and if you know about it, it makes it so much better.
Yeah. And it does have that nostalgia element to it, but not just that. It has a lot of really good industry information in there, really. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there. So definitely back it.
I agree. Back it. I've not backed it because
back it when it comes for the issue 3, and you can get 1 and 2 as well.
I just had a look. We were talking about Clever Girl. It looks like it finished yesterday, which is annoying.
Damn it.
Wretched and Alone. And
I thought it would have been that or Dread that it was based on with the Jenga Tower. I just couldn't place it.
I'll show it anyway because they may well do a late pledge, and I was really tempted.
Back it, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. So here we go. Clever Girl. Even like the typeface is, it's there from Jurassic Park.
It's going to get them sued at some point. Yes.
Yeah, when it starts actually making some sort of progress in the. Just make that a little bit. There we go. But yeah, literally you have a Jenga guitar, just playing cards, and your book. Your book. But yeah, nice dice.
Simple concept. Loved it.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the Phil edition was $60. Other editions are not available. But yeah, keep your eye on that if you like dinosaur stuff. I'm sure they'll maybe do a back kit or pledge manager or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will. And if not, we should reach out afterwards and just say, look, seriously, do a back kit.
Yeah. Let's talk about the one thing that John and I had actually discussed briefly, and then we found out it has been cancelled. Thunder Road Vendetta.
Yeah, why did it get cancelled?
Well, should we talk about what it is first? So, because it will come back.
It's a remake of a 1986 game.
I never played it.
Way back. Well, some people will remember things like Dark Future and things like that. And this is one of the ones that came in before that. There was a lot of things on there. And as I say, take games from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, no problem at all. But this is one of those simple games where it's a rolling road and you're literally playing. It's Death Race. Quite literally, it's Death Race 2000. Exactly it's all those things. Small car, medium car, large car, truck or something similar, and off you go. You attack things, you maim things up, and it's Mad Max on the track. No worries, brilliant, wonderful thing. and I've got it on my save things, which will now show up in 30 days saying it's been cancelled.
Yeah.
But there's that moment of why the hell did they cancel it?
Yeah. Well, I will say that actually, when we were originally going to talk about this, I was going to say how I actually really like the look of it. I'd be on the fence as to whether I would personally back it, but it's one of those games I would definitely love to play.
Yeah.
And there was an update. So let's have a look. There we go. So basically, I mean, I have read this a couple of days ago. It sounds like there was a discussion about whether or not they should go ahead with it, and the product owner basically said, no, we're just going to launch it. And the rest of the team kind of said, we're not ready. And it looks like they've had some feedback, and they've just decided that actually, yeah, we're not ready. We need to do it differently and do it better. Which I really respect, actually, rather than going the opposite way of just saying, we're going to do it now. We're going to release it. It'll land in 2 months, Avatar. And we promise it will definitely be perfect. And then make an excuse straight away for why it's going to be delayed or why things have to completely change.
And that's the thing. So, and it's, if it's as good as it was previously, and I appreciate rose tinted glasses, no problem at all. Blue tinted glasses if you go like that, but still. But rose tinted glasses, games are never as good as you remember them to be. But at the same time, it's a simple enough concept. It's a simple enough game. Rolling road you can't go wrong with. It's
exactly.
Bit of a surprise, but it is what it is. So
Restoration Games have done some other things. They did Fireball Island, and hang on, let's do this. Dark Tower. That's what I was trying to remember. Fireball Island, Stop Thief. So they've got a track record now of putting stuff out that has been pretty successful. Jury's out as to whether or not the value was there in some of those games in terms of the replayability, but that comes back to that conversation we just had about nostalgia and actually going back to it and going, that seemed a lot better when I had nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, as Jason and Exeus in the comments there are both saying that Car Wars was better. Yes, but Car Wars did far better at the time.
Yeah.
And as a result, it had a lot more things come out for it. It had a lot more other stuff coming out for it. And it's fine, but Car Wars was a thing where you really had to build everything up to make it good. That thing is just, it lands on the table and there it is. Off you go. Ogre, they did that a short while ago. I say a short while ago, several years back now. But the designer's edition that came with, the box was bigger than me. It was immense, that bloody thing. It was 100
And that's you now.
There you go. But there's the thing.
Yeah.
You look at Ogre, and the game itself, from what they'd done, hadn't changed from that video cassette box I've got over there with the original Ogre in it, down to the maps. It was the exact same.
Yeah.
Still a good game. Did it go anywhere after that? No, not really. There wasn't much where else for it to go. It's Ogre. Yeah. This goes this way, this goes this way, shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Jason says, the system's knowing Avatar, I backed it at the field level, and yeah, I agree, not coming out on time. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I want Avatar to succeed. It's very important for the RPG community that it does. And I think it's going to do a huge amount of damage to our hobby if they don't actually deliver the things that they promised to deliver. And from a company perspective, I'm concerned about that. My bigger issue is that it was never probably going to be delivered within the 3 months or so that they said that they could do it in. That Kickstarter ended, September, October? They reckon they're going to get everything delivered in January?
Oh, come on, look. Seriously, anyone who goes into Kickstarter and says it'll deliver on time
I know.
Never backed a Kickstarter.
But my concern is that Avatar, because of the IP, has pulled in a whole load of people who don't know that. And it's going to just completely destroy their opinion.
No. It won't destroy the gaming industry. What it will do is destroy their faith in that company.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
that means they'll go search out all the other cool stuff, including all the stuff on your back wall. So. And if I just briefly angle this way to the games that I play most days, as opposed to the library of things that I have across there not this shelf, there's an entire room full of stuff that I don't play.
Yeah, and this is the same thing. We've packed about the same again of books into boxes. There's more books upstairs.
Yeah.
These are the books that I wanted to keep access to during the house move. There's a lot more that we're not playing, or that the other half will play, but I'm not.
It's arrived today. Complete with shiny 3-sided dice.
We like shiny dice.
D3s.
We like D3s. D3s are good. I like D7s.
D3s were well cool. I'm just sort of rolling them going, this is cool.
See, I play Dungeon Crawl Classics quite often, so we've got all of the dice.
Can't go wrong with DCC.
I love it. A big shout out to Zach, actually. I don't know if you're still watching, but Zach and Bruce, between you really kind of
Bruce
changed
just offered some games for Dragonmeet, so if you like DCC, turn up to Dragonmeet.
Yeah. And even if you don't, turn up to Dragonmeet.
Yeah. Find something else.
Yeah.
Choose dice. Choose games. No, I'm going back to the train spotting thing there. We ain't going there. There's an entire spiel on that.
Yeah, we can do that. But so Thunder Road, Vendetta. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a shame they've cancelled it, but probably for the best reasons. It's going to come back in
it's for
January.
ethical reasons rather than because they suddenly went, crap, we can't do it.
Yes, exactly.
Which I'm down with that. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll never have a problem with someone saying later.
Yeah, we want to
Not
do it
never,
right.
but later.
Exactly.
I'm okay with that.
Let's talk about the expansion book, if you like, for one of the big award winners, Slayers. Slayers Almanac is on Kickstarter. Now, I'm one of those scandalous people who hasn't gotten around to looking at Slayers yet, but I did notice how many awards it won. So I know that Martin has absorbed a large amount of knowledge about Slayers for a start.
Yeah,
so, Martin, what is Slayers?
Well, Slayers is a game by Spencer Campbell, whose company is Healer RPGs. He spelled Gila for those British people who don't know how to pronounce that. And he the games that he's designed are they're very quick to the table. They're basically designed to get there, start having fun with the people that you want to game with, and that is all of his games that he's designed so far. You get them to the table, you've got a character in seconds flat, and you just start to have fun. Slayers is about you play a titular monster slayer in a city that is kind of cursed, has something strange going on with it, that is constantly kind of expanding and soaking in like new areas. And it's, I mean, I really like it. It's the kind of game that you just, you got a group of people around, you say, we want to play an RPG, what do we play? You grab Slayers because, you just like, here are the characters, bam, 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 you've got a character, get it to start killing monsters. It's fun. And one of the things I like most about it is that it has asymmetric kind of character design. So you have a standard rule, which is the rule of 4, which when you roll your d6, anything 4 or over is a success. But then each of the character classes has its own kind of mechanic that plays off. So like gunslingers have this thing where like you have a 6-shooter, you put 6 dice in front of you, and when you want to attack, you pick up how many dice you want to shoot out your 6-shooter, and then that obviously then like you're taking your bullets away, so then you have to plan to be able to reload. You have a blade, which is like a kind of melee up close, and they can do like loads of damage up close. And you have an arcanist and a tactician, and they all. I think you can see that he takes Spencer takes a lot of influence from. He's quite big on computer games, and takes a lot of influence from that. He's done games based around like kind of Destiny and things like that. The computer game, obviously not an
But
official.
the support aspect is very much there, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you like that quick to the table, just a load of fun, his games are perfect. And Slayer's Almanac is basically a 10 district expansion of the city. So you've got this city, you've already got a little bit in the core rulebook of Slayers, of the city itself. He also did a follow-up Kickstarter called Dust, which includes another character class called the Deadeye, and it's got an expanded district in there, and that expanded district formula is what he's using to power the Slayer's Almanac, really. But it's not just him. He's got individual indie devs, creators writing each of the 10 districts. So if you want to back something that is really, really going to support indie creators, Slayer's Almanac is perfect. It's system agnostic. You can use it with Slayers, but you can plug it into anything that could have a similar kind of theme. Really, there's no rules in there. It's just theme for the city. So I mean, for me, it was an instant back, and anything that Hilo RPGs release, I back. So yeah, I mean, back it, do it.
The dark horse, spending your money so that you don't have any.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love that it's got hex maps. I mean, I'm really kind of got into hex crawls recently.
It's good old school stuff, though, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
These things were made on hex maps.
Yeah.
The world that I was brought through was made on hex maps.
Yeah, and for me,
you went in a dungeon, at which point everything went square.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I understand how this is. Are we in squares? Yes, it must be a dungeon.
Yeah.
Done.
That's true. That really it very quickly gives you a setting of where you are, and kind of evokes an appropriate. Exactly. So each district is written by a different author.
Yep.
You have a beautiful hex map, distinct art style, travel guide. The almanac itself, this looks really pretty.
Yeah.
I like the notion of the way they actually present the game when it comes through, and every one of the adventures has the whole setup, travel, fight.
Yeah.
Really simple, but it works. And looking at it from a convention point of view, you could take any one of those, take it to a convention.
Yeah.
And it's right there, good to go as it is, straight away. And I like the notion that it's a 4+ success, but the dice change. So 4+ on a D6, 50%, no problem at all. 4+ on a D8, 60%. 4+ on a D10, 70%.
Yeah, exactly.
And simple mechanic, but you only need to remember the one thing.
You get more than the 4. Yeah, exactly. I like the campaign. I think it's really well split out. They tell you all the authors. I appreciate that they go so far as to tell you the breakdown of the profits as well. Profits is the wrong word. The money they get in, cash flow, budget breakdown. I think that's really.
I have no problem with
valuable.
people getting paid for what they do, and that includes the people who make the game.
Absolutely, because they're the people who tend not to get any money for it.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically,
it's gonna go to them. There's no stretch goals. It's all going to go to them. The split is just going to get better and better for the people. And if you don't want the people that make the things that you get so much enjoyment from to get more money, then screw you. To be honest, I mean, I want
never writing on Twitter.
I want these people. I want these people that make these things that I get so much enjoyment from to be able to keep making them.
And this is why I still buy CDs and Blu-rays. For the same reason. Let's very quickly look at the pledge levels. $1 just helps them out a little bit. $15 for the PDF. $25 for the print copy. $25 or more for the PDF of the almanac and the rulebook.
Remember, it stands for Please Don't Fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're not going to back it at anything else, still back it at Please Don't Fail.
Yeah. And I think today it actually funded now. I think it's funded now. So anything else anything else is just more money for the people that
Yeah.
are making it. And you've got some really good indie creators in there. I think Jay Dragon's in there, who created Wonder Home.
Right Room and Will Jobs.
Will Jobst is the editor, and I think Will Jobst did the there's a ghost in this Discord, which I mean there's some really good people on for this, and it deserves to succeed as far as I'm concerned.
I do have regret for not picking up Slayers in print, and it's actually basically impossible to get hold of these days. Last time I looked anyway, I couldn't find it anywhere. And you can't get it in print with this campaign by the looks of things.
I think you can go to his. I know that Spencer did have copies left on his website, but they were going quick. I mean, I'm guessing because it does mention in the project itself, he is currently in the guts of making a 1.5 update to it.
Yeah, which is now PDF. So
yeah, and that is one of the things that I like about his development of games. He's an iterative designer. He isn't afraid to go back to something and go, you know what, I've had this feedback. Let's mess with it a little bit. Let's like he made Dust, and one the class in there had kind of like a slightly different build to it, and in 1.5 he's going back and he's adding that build to the old classes, the ability to have a movement that doesn't kind of suck up one of your actions. So it's I like someone that keeps looking at what they're creating and they're going, you know what, this can be better. I'll go back to it again.
Yeah, absolutely, completely agree with you. But yeah, that's the Slayers Almanac. Get it while it's hot. It's going to be hugely successful, even if it doesn't look like it. Slayers won loads of awards, and rightly so by the look of it. You've heard the testimony from people who know the product way better than I do, which is pretty much everyone in the world.
It's available on drive-through right now, so just wander through, grab a copy from there. Job done. No worries.
Exactly.
Play in minutes.
Exactly that. We were talking about the mechanics of the game. The roll, get a 4. As long as you get a 4, then you succeed, and that you step up the dice. There's another system that does that. That would be Savage Worlds. The Savage Worlds have very quietly, or relatively quietly, brought a new setting into Kickstarter. Holler, an Appalachian apocalypse. I'm really confused by this game, in that I love the setting a lot, and I've watched quite a few. There's a few things on the Pinnacle YouTube about the game, interviews with the author, the creators, etc. And yeah, I really like it. But I've played quite a few Savage Worlds games now, and I enjoy them all, but they do feel very similar and not. I don't know, it's really weird. No matter how different the setting is, it feels like, for whatever reason, the game ends up feeling the same. And I don't know, it's hard for me to know how much of that is just down to, we've got a pool of players and we're playing games in a similar way every time. How much is just that the system kind of informs a certain way of playing. But the central conceits of Holler, which is that you're kind of in your go back a couple of 100 years, you're in the Appalachian mountains and the valleys, and there's this kind of historical village horror, and effectively corruption is making people turn into insert corruption creature here, and that there are overarching people with lots more money who are in control and pushing change according to their own agenda. I'm troubled because it feels quite familiar.
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't mean I'm not going to back it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
but
I like the idea, but I do know where you're coming from. It's Deadlands, it's Werewolf Wild West, it's a bunch of other things that are similar, and you can see the influences, even if they're not direct influences to it. They're things that have gone before that have a similar vein to them, and I can see where people think, well, do I need one more version of that? Except that the person who's doing this one is a professor who's done a variety of things about these things, so everything in here is going to be researched.
Yes.
And not only researched, but presented properly, accurately.
Yes.
And that may be something that previous products didn't have as much.
Because
you look at Deadlands and it's like, yeah, no problem at all, but most of that wasn't based in, reality. There was quite a bit of it where you could see where it was drawn from.
Yeah,
this
but a lot of it's
this
just
one's
generic.
actually got a lot of
a lot of it's Romero kind of influence stuff, just
and that's the thing.
thrown back,
Werewolf Wild West, brilliant. Don't get me wrong, no problem. Any book that's got a bullet hole straight through the book, brilliant. Give me more of that, no problem at all. But again, is it accurate to what it is? Is it, could you look at it and go, yeah, no problem at all. I understand better what I'm playing in.
Yeah,
I think you could.
Yeah,
that one, I suspect you could.
I think. Well, I'd hope that the writing in there is enough to give it a different flavor, because I think, as someone born and raised in England, in the UK, my knowledge of American pop culture and American folk culture is limited to television and what I'm going to read in books like that. Yes, I could pick up, countless wonderful novels about these sorts of things. The reality is, even if I have the interest, I don't have the time or genuinely the mental capacity to do that. So I am dependent on the information that's in the books that support the setting, and even then, probably an abridged version, if I'm honest. I'm not going to read every word on the page.
You pick the one that's suitable for you, though, wouldn't you? I mean, I don't know if there's a taster of what it's like on the actual Kickstarter page, but you look at a variety of things like Dogs in the Vineyard and things like that, and it's they're completely different feels to a lot of them. But it depends on which way the rules support the way you want to play it.
Yeah, and I certainly know that with this one, the author, who's not Shane Hensley, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
He's on the top of the page.
He is on the top of the page, but I'm not at the top of the page.
Everyone else can be. There we go. It's called Holler.
There, Tim Early. There we go. I know that he presented the world and the setting and the lore to the team at Pinnacle, and then they partly tailored what he presented and partly tailored the system, and they met in the middle. So there is that. This is a setting first translation into Savage Worlds, as opposed to just being the, okay, Pinnacle want a new Savage Worlds game. What are they going to make up? This is not this has not just been made by Pinnacle as let's just get another Savage Worlds thing out.
No.
And I think they are pretty good at having quite a lot of variety in what they do with Savage Worlds. Okay, they had Pathfinder, which is, an interesting decision for them to do, but probably quite a clever one. I would be interested to get feedback on how well that really plays as a sword and sorcery thing. But, compared to it just feeling like Deadlands, but with, swords.
With historical accuracy.
Yeah. Absolute historical accuracy. I'm talking about Pathfinder now.
Yeah, well, everything in Pathfinder was true once.
Absolutely. But yeah, so this is a tricky one. I'll bring the page back up. I like it. I really do. My main gripe with it is that the bennies are going to be plastic again, because they were clay for a while and they're lovely. But
well, that's the thing though. If you're going to buy, bennies that are made out of clay, you don't tend to buy gaming ones for the most part. I mean, there are some fantastic ones out. Don't get me wrong, but you'll go buy poker ones.
Yeah. Well, my Deadlands Noir official ones are clay, and they're wonderful. But then every other set of Pinnacle bennies have been plastic.
14-gram clay as a bare minimum, job done, no worries.
Exactly.
If you throw it on the table, it needs to clatter, not tinkle.
Yes, and you always have to have a fear that when you drop it on the floor, it's going to chip.
There you go.
If you're not scared of that, then you're doing it wrong.
As the
Same with
OCD
minis. I have one chipped Benny, and it broke my heart more than it should have done. Look, the artwork has all been done by the same artist throughout the entire book, throughout the whole project, and the artwork is goddamn phenomenal. Let's see if there are any other pictures that I can grab. Probably not. But there's that on the front.
Slightly reminiscent of Preacher.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would say as someone who's not really invested at all in Savage Worlds, if I was to pick it up and then pick up something, I would probably only pick up one of Deadlands Noir or this, and it would probably be this one, because this seems more my cup of tea. But I certainly wouldn't go in for both. It feels like there's a bit too much overlap.
Exactly. So Deadlands Weird West does feel very similar to this. Deadlands Noir is very lovely in a different way because it's film noir. It's 1930s, 1920s.
Yeah, sorry, the Weird West one, not noir. If that's what I said. Yeah.
And I'm just going to mention that if you pray hard enough, I'm going to stop this for a second. If you pray hard enough, sometimes you get what you need, and a wild dog appears.
What? He just clicked on the wrong link, Phil.
No, there's no point looking for yourself. You're already there.
Wait, how did I end up
Look at the screen, man. Look at the screen. It's all right.
Oh.
Everything's fine.
You're all still going.
We're all still going, my friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, you've missed us talking about Thunder Road getting cancelled.
Yeah, I saw that from Restoration Game, but they're gonna reboot it. They're gonna come back. They'll come back with it'll be fine. It was kind of a weird time for Kickstarters right now. Like it's so I think that was probably the right move for them.
Slayer's Almanac looks awesome. I regret not buying Slayers. We're just talking about, in case you didn't spot, Holler. For Savage Worlds, the Appalachian.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which I'm just so torn about it because I love the style. I love the idea. It's kind of folk horror fantasy stuff, which I always love. I'm running Cimbrum. I've run Vess, and it seems to be. I always thought that. Well, Cimbrum is like my playing Cimbrum, running Cimbrum is my kind of big role playing passion at the moment. But I always thought I was going to be big into the sci-fi RPGs, and I actually haven't really enjoyed those so much. Not to say I don't love those as well, but I do find that I'm going towards the kind of folk horror stuff, and as a result of that, this setting is really appealing. But I am, as I said, really concerned that it's just going to feel like Deadlands, and maybe that's the onus is on me as a GM to put the effort in for it to not feel that way.
Is this Shane's? It is Shane's project. Okay.
Shane project, but he didn't write it. Tim Early, who is literally an Appalachian poet and professor.
So Shane's publishing this more than likely.
Right.
Probably
so
Tim, nice.
So I think Shane saw some of Tim's work, and they got talking, and Tim was like, "Hey, I've got a role-playing game I want to write," and Shane was like, "Okay, well, I happen to, have the ways and means to do that. I have one of
these things that can publish it."
Yes, exactly. So then they worked. So then Tim brought the IP to Pinnacle, and Pinnacle then applied the rule set to it, rather than the other way around, which is really interesting. The artwork is awesome. I think it'll be great. The challenge is in making it feel different.
But I think being written by someone who knows the subject as well as this.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be something in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was my concern as someone who's been to the US a few times, but that's kind of the limit of my US pop culture knowledge, other than what we see on TV and, the the games I've already run.
The entirety
Makes
of We
it
Didn't
harder
Start
to-
the Fire.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, I watched Saint Elsewhere when I was young. I mean, it was on.
I'm glad I didn't.
Oh, you missed out.
No. I've seen the ending. I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I watched Hill Street Blues when I was young.
The Hill Street Blues are still one of my alarm calls. Don't worry.
That's genius. I like that. Let's have a look.
Yeah, like Bob said, that's basically all there is. It's just movies.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all it is.
Yeah, though I'll come back to what Jason's just said as well. It's really interesting, but it's a bit of a sidebar. So, in terms of the project, I think it's really nice. Tempted by it. I'll at least throw digital down probably.
When did this launch today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
So since it's a Shane project, I'm surprised that it only has a little under 400 backers.
There was very little PR around it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, look at the funding level. I mean, it's well above its funding. So,
but the thing, I mean, there could be a lot of people also thinking the same as what Phil's thinking with the whole, is it just another version of?
Yeah, and like when you look at what you get as well, I mean, you get some cards, you get some archetypes, you get some standees, you get a map, you get a book. I mean, this is basically item for item identical to what you get in Deadlands, which is not great in making it feel different. That said, I know you do also get some metal coins. There's a new mechanic in here.
You just want the shiny, you know this to be true.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, the fill level is not ridiculously prohibitive.
So here's the thing I look at.
All coins and metal.
Look, how much is the average backer backing in this?
Let's have a look. So
it's over $100, which seems a little off.
56, 55, 53, 70, 147. So yeah, we are all probably getting the full one.
Everything.
Yeah, and that's the one to get, because you get the conviction tokens, you basically get all the add-ons in that level.
Yeah, but
divide
so take the funding goal, take the funding amount that's already there, the 44,867, divide it, or sorry, I'm looking at US dollars. Divide it by the $396. Something's not jiving there.
The other one was $175 though, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it adds up, because the top level, most people have backed the top level, which is $175. But then so that's how many
for the boss.
147 have paid 175.
Yeah, 70 have backed at 125.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so more people, actually, more people have backed it at $100 plus than have backed it at underneath.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah, the second tier is 175 means that any person who backs it at just PDF.
Yeah,
that's 200 put together. So
Andy says it's $75 for the PDF level.
No, it's 35.
It's 35.
35 for digital. It's got the basic stuff in it, but if you just the book, keep going.
Digital Game Master, okay, that gives you everything though. There's actually quite a lot of extra
but it's
stuff.
in PDF.
But it's in PDF. Plus, do you get the physical book as well?
Not at that level.
Wow.
So it's all PDF, which I've got to say I wouldn't be backing that.
No.
If I was going to back anything, you'd back it at full.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to have to print out all that stuff.
And that's why you've got.
But I think that's the thing is. But I think the thing is now that the market has changed, a lot of people are playing Savage Worlds in Foundry, and
it's true,
and that sort of thing. And by getting them in PDF, it means that you don't have to worry about if the tokens are compatible or not. You just make them yourself, and a lot of people have the time for that these days. Not me, but
and you don't have to worry about paying for shipping afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Or got to say, getting lost in the Suez Canal.
That too.
Yeah, that too as well. Yeah.
I mean, there is like there is a VTT thing that's been unlocked as well, isn't there?
It's a
On
good
there?
theory, man.
There is. Yeah. Millie has it right. Yeah, it's not
Good
just a
theory.
pledge level
Yeah.
strategy. $75 for the PDF, so I'll just pledge up. Exactly. You know, you get to a point where the next step up doesn't feel like that much, and you get more for it.
Yeah.
If you can pledge $75 a PDF, chances are you've got the money to do 175 for the other one,
or at least go to the next, you know, the 125 or whatever it is. Yeah. And then when you've got the 125, you just think, oh, but actually, I do want those coins.
But I mean, this is one of the things that's absolutely terrifying to me if I was ever an indie trying to run a Kickstarter, because you've got these people that kind of play the Kickstarter game and they're like, oh, yeah, I'll back at this, but I might upgrade, or I'll back at this and then I might downgrade. And it's like suddenly when everything comes in at the end, everything flips and you're like, oh, I mean, it might not affect the big guns so much, but as an indie on Kickstarter, it could really hammer you. You could be expecting.
You see, if you're an indie on Kickstarter, for me, you wouldn't put in so many options.
Yeah.
Even just a flip from physical to digital, though, if you released an update that said, oh, actually this has changed with the printer, and then suddenly everybody like went down to the digital level, it's that kind of it's such an unknown quantity for people that are on very thin margins.
Yeah. But you know, that's why costing the Kickstarter out in the first place is essential.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Holler, I think it's really interesting. I think if you don't have Deadlands and you want to do a folk horror system game, Savage Worlds is really. I'm struggling to kind of find my feet properly with it. Even though I ran Deadlands Noir for like 7 months, it still doesn't feel like a natural system for me. But we had a bunch of fun. It is really good.
Yeah.
It's
a good system. It's easy to play. You know, it's just different from other things.
And it'll be a quality product. I mean, physically it'll be great because Shane's involved with publishing it. So you'll get a decent product once it's all.
I mean, you can see. I mean, right here there's a bunch of my Pinnacle stuff, and it's all lovely. It's really good. Yeah. I've got more than that. That's just what you can see there. Yeah, it'll be fun. The system is great. You roll 2 die and hope that one of them is more than a 4. If either of those die hit the maximum number, then it explodes. So then you add those up and it can keep going. So you can end up getting 12, which is 3 lots of 4. So you've succeeded and you've got 2 extra successes over the top of that. And it's nice. Rolling dice and having to re-roll them and just having that tactile feeling is great. And Savage Worlds does that really well.
It does.
I'm tempted, but the reality is that having had the Anycubic Photon Ultra campaign closed today, I am considerably less well off than I was when I woke up. So,
all you need is really simple. Is when something else arrives in and you suddenly remember that, but you've already paid for that. It's okay. Yeah,
exactly. It's fine.
What's the worst that could happen? It'll all be all right.
Believe in Dodd. Mr. Doug.
Yes, Mr. Phil.
It has been a while. How the hell are you?
I'm well, thank you. I was working on some stuff, and then I looked at the time, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're still going. I doubt they are, but then sure enough, you were. So I thought I'd just pop on and say hello to everybody. And
any excitement in your week?
No, not really. I've just been working. Prepping for Carnage, which is coming up here in a couple weeks.
I've just been prepping for Carnage. So that's fine.
Carnage. Let there be carnage. Not going to the movies. Have you guys seen that movie yet, by the way?
No, I just opened here. I have got my tickets for June, though. I'm very excited. Yeah,
I'm pumped. We'll probably watch that on HBO Max, but whatever.
Yeah, just rub it in. You know, HBO Max is not available
watching it on HBO Max.
No.
No.
I mean, I don't know. It's one of those movies where I think a lot of people are going to show up for the movie theater and watch it, and I'm just not comfortable with sitting like so close
Which
to.
Is fair. Absolutely fair.
This is why you put your wife on one side and your daughter on the other, and you'll be fine.
I mean, luckily, luckily the movies that I've gone to, because I've gone to see Maximum or Let There Be Carnage twice, because I took 2 friends to go see it, and those movie theaters were not packed at all. Like there was hardly anybody in the theater. So
we've got tickets to see it at the Pretend IMAX.
Yeah.
Because it's a digital IMAX, which means it's not really an IMAX.
Sure.
But it's still better than the other screens at the local cinema by a long shot. Really well calibrated. The screen's much better in terms of contrast. The sound is much better. It's just still not a goddamn IMAX.
If you're going to watch something like that, it needs to be on the big screen.
Yeah,
it does.
You're going to lose so much of what that film is.
I know.
Yeah, but Doug's going to be there with his General Electric's 1978 color TV set. He's going to twiddle the thing to get
bop it a couple times to make it come in.
And then the vertical hold will go all squiggly.
Exactly.
And then he's going to put his 4K into that.
It'll look great. It'll look great, Doug. Don't you worry.
All 17 inches.
You know, you guys, that's how we used to enjoy movies back in my day. You know, there's nothing wrong with it.
HBO Max is going to launch in Sweden in November, I think, that's how I'm going to watch. That's how I'm going to watch June.
Yeah,
I hate
I'm not going to go to the cinema
because we don't have HBO Max here, and I don't.
You can
get HBO Max in the UK.
Of course you can.
Well, you can get it, but we don't technically have it.
Yeah, it's not launched in the UK.
No, technically, what we've got instead.
And what else do you have VPNs for?
Yeah, but it's not officially launched. It officially launches in Sweden in November. So
you see, they tried to get around it by saying you had to have an American credit card. Except we've got American friends. Can you get an American credit card? Of course I can. Not a problem.
I don't think I'll be going back to the cinema for a while, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but that's because it takes about 4 hours to get there, Martin.
Well,
that's true.
Well, yeah, that is a problem. But I mean, we went to see Tenet last year, and there was like 2 people in the cinema.
Yeah,
total. And that was me and my son. That was it.
Yeah, we saw Bond last week.
Yeah,
and
I haven't seen that yet. No spoilers, but I'm pretty sure I ain't gonna like that one.
I won't spoil it at all for you.
No. I know what happens,
things.
But no spoilers. So
no spoilers. Yeah. All I'll say is I think that for me, it was the second best in the Daniel Craig series.
But that then asks the question: what was the first?
Have a guess.
Casino Royale.
No.
Really?
Well, I'd have said Skyfall, but
I mean, I like Casino Royale. I didn't like
Casino Royale. I thought was superb. Quantum of Solace does not exist.
Agreed.
Skyfall was brilliant.
Yeah.
If only for the damn villain.
Skyfall is my
now
favorite.
they only eat rat. Perfect. Yeah. If there was any bit of scenery left after he'd been old a bit, I didn't see any scenery left anywhere. He'd eaten all of that scenery.
Yeah.
Spectre, you know.
Spectre was fine. So Skyfall is my favorite of the Daniel Craig ones, and I think ignoring all the whatever the plot is, we're not going to go into that. I think they did the best they could given everything.
Sure.
I don't hate it. I did hate Quantum of Solace.
There's a resounding.
I don't hate it.
Yeah,
I hate quite a lot of them.
Which is possibly the most damning indictment you can have, is that the best thing you can think about it is that you
don't hate it.
Yeah. I've got a very high bar when it's James Bond, and as far as I'm concerned, none of them are even at the level of Roger Moore for me, but in a different way. So, I mean, Connery is my favorite, but
Roger Moore could walk in space; everything was fine.
Exactly. I don't know. I just Daniel Craig is a superb Bond, but a lot of the writing just hasn't been there.
No, but that's off the course.
Exactly.
So all those Bond creators watching, hire us. We're dead good at this stuff. We could do it much better, really. So
exactly. The James Bond role playing game. You're all 007.
No.
We ain't talking about it.
No, thank you.
No, that'll be Free League in about 3 years.
No, I don't think.
No. You see, I'm noticing in the comments there's someone saying that Skywalk was Home Alone. Actually, it's not. If you look at Home Alone, the film that is closest to Home Alone is Predator.
Yeah, I can
you
see
watch
that.
every single thing he gets the robbers with. At some point in time, it happens in Predator.
I don't remember any irons in Predator.
No, but you do remember someone dropping a tree on someone's head.
Yes.
There you go. Go on, pick something else.
Okay. I think we're stretching what an iron can be here, but okay, I'll go with that.
It's a big wood mine. It's the closest thing Arnold has.
So, Doug, any news from Free League that you're allowed to share?
that I'm allowed to share? No, I'm not. Yeah. I think everything's been,
any news from Free League that you're not allowed to share, but you're going to share anyway.
No. There's a couple things that I think everyone will be. Well, I think most everyone will be excited about going into 2022. Once we're into 2022. Let's put it that way.
Is there anything more planned for this year? Any Kickstarters planned for this year?
I don't think anything. I think we're just trying to, make sure everything that's on the boats and trying to get everything delivered before the holidays. Yeah. It pains me to know that, there's a chance that it might not hit retail before the holiday season, and that's
so. What have you got? Have you got Twilight 2000?
We've got Twilight 2000, which I have a copy here if you want to.
Nah, not really.
Okay, fine. We'll see. We've got Twilight 2000, which it's on a boat. It just needs to get here, and then I think it should be to backers. Hopefully within the next. Oh God.
Andy's going to be really upset that I said no to that. By the way,
I know he is. Within the next month?
I mean, I was nodding my head and I didn't even back it, so I was just like, "Yeah, free stuff, cool."
So we got that. We got the
Tales paying attention than Eric.
Yeah. Eric saying you forgot about the minigun scene in Home Alone.
Yeah.
So you got Twilight 2000, but the Forbidden Lands.
We've also got the Tales from the Loop, the board game, which is it just barely went on a boat a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we've got that. We also have the One Ring. Did everybody download did anybody back the One Ring Kickstarter?
I backed it for $1.
The PDFs for that all went out the other day or a couple weeks ago, I guess. And it looks really good. It's at the printer. It's I think Francesco had advanced copies of the deluxe edition, the collector's edition at Essen.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool.
Well, hopefully we'll get it at Dragonmeet as well then.
Yeah, I don't know. When's Dragonmeet? Dragonmeet's what in a few weeks.
4th. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's close. It's the retailer side of me just is, and the sales part of me just is so anxious that it's not going to hit retail in plenty of time for the holidays. But everybody's kind of in the same boat, and like I've been saying right along, if you're not doing your holiday shopping now, God bless you when you try to do it in December, because it's going to be tough, I think.
Come to Dragonmeet, do it there.
There you go, do it at Dragonmeet, because there'll probably be plenty of
come
stock
to Dragonmeet.
What's that?
Come to Dragonmeet.
Dragonmeet?
Yeah, come to Dragonmeat, Doug.
Well, I wish I could. I don't have a passport. That was the thing that Free League told me the other day, that I need to get a passport because,
like they're gonna let you out of the country.
What's that? Like they're gonna let me out of the country?
You're too important to the US.
Am I on any international do not fly list yet? Not yet.
No, you're just not allowed out because you're too valuable.
It's no fun when you get on that thing anyway.
No.
I mean, we'll have you. You can come into the country, into the UK, but they're not going to let you leave. They're not going to let you leave the US.
I think by the time I'm done there, they'll be like, "You can have them back.
Yeah.
Take them back.
Damn Americans."
I would love to go to Dragonmeet. I'd love to go to UK Games Expo. I'd love to go to Essen. Like all of those events, I would love to, because it's more about. yeah, it's fun to see new games and see publishers face to face, but it's really about those communities, you know, like that's the main thing. Like I love connecting with folks and getting to know, you know, the different scenes at different conventions. And, you know, there's just some really great convention, I call them convention families, you know, where you see them like every year, and, you know, you catch up, and it's like it's like you talk almost every week, but yet you probably see each other maybe once or twice a year. And it's like you never spent any time apart. And, you know, that's something special when conventions have, you know, groups of communities around them like that. So,
yeah, it's the thing that I miss, and we got a little bit of it at Expo this year. But yeah, there's people that I mean, like, you know, Doug, we speak every couple of days. You know, Martin, we speak pretty much every day. John, we speak, you know, every now and then. No, I mean, you know, regularly.
Right. You get to know, right? You get to know folks, and like that was the great thing about doing you know, Origins and Gen Con was like I finally got to see some folks face to face that you know I've known for years.
Well, exactly. You forge these relationships, and they are that, and close friendships, and you know, the three of you probably know me better than the vast majority of my colleagues. You know, certainly, you know, kind of many of my less close friends, and yet, you know, Martin and I have never met. Doug and I have never met. John, you know, we've met a handful of times, but we never spend any quality time together in person. But, you know, the convention is the opportunity to do that. And yeah, it's hard, man. And
it is.
Yeah, we just need to fix the world.
Yeah, I mean, especially just now as well.
Yeah.
You know, everyone kind of feels trapped in their own space. So that things like Dragonmeet are happening. You know, it is good. It's getting people face to face again in a more controlled environment, safe environment, so that, you know, they can feel like they can be with people and not pressured into anything that makes them feel unsafe.
Yeah.
So.
And we're going to have exactly that in 50-something days in Dragonmeet.
That's exciting.
I can't wait. We've been going for almost 2 hours. We should probably allow people some respite.
Well, you look on the bright side, because I'm working 8 hours. So,
goodness me. Yeah.
But, you know, if you have good conversations, you have good conversations.
That's
exactly
right.
That.
That's right.
Exactly that.
So.
Well, let's call it there. Thank you to everyone who's joined and contributed live in the comments. I'm not going to manage to get everyone, but let's give it a good effort. So thank you to Jason, to Bruce, to Neil, to Bob, to
Millie
Zach,
for the win.
Millie for the win, and
Eric.
We got Eric.
Even though he called me out for having warrants.
Well, I mean, you do. For Andy, for this comment that we've got too many beards, it's not even November yet. I mean, that's fine.
But you can at least recognize their beards.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Is that everyone? I think we've gotten everyone. Yeah. And thank you to Doug for joining us at the very end. Always welcome to Martin. Appreciate you very much. And John, it's been a real pleasure to finally get you on the show. You're welcome back at any time. We will be back next week, and we start showing, if all goes to plan, the Cult Divinity Lost stream the last Monday of October.
The 25th, is it?
Something like that. We're already scheduled up. Yeah, we've got one more session to record on that. It's going to be amazing. And Martin's like, I'm in that game. It's not going to be one session. I'm like, Martin, if I kill you off at the beginning, it'll be one session.
Oh, yeah. Then definitely it'll be one session.
I'm not seeing a problem.
If I just disconnect you at the beginning, it'll be one session. No, it's been great fun. I'm really looking forward to getting that out on the channel. Until then, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have, please like, please subscribe. Come join us on Discord. We've got Redbubble merchandise, such as that one down there. Show off your t-shirt, Mr. Martin. Hey, grabbing at his moves.
And the Dark Old Patreon as well.
The Dark Old Patreon, thank you very much. So yeah, every penny counts. As everyone probably knows, running these things is not expensive and certainly not profitable. So yeah, every penny helps. But that's not why we're here. Hope you had a great show, and we will see you very soon. Until then, I hope your dice rolls are way better than mine. Take care, everyone.